Hello! My class on Skillshare just launched. It's all about creating a brief for your next passion project so you can skip the overwhelm and get to work. And guess what? I'm sharing an exclusive sneak peek with you right here. This class isn't about the designing, the cooking, or the creating. It's all about the prep work. Like we've talked about, there usually isn't a lack of creativity or ideas. It's the overwhelm of, oh my gosh, there's so many. Where do I even begin? Which one do I choose? So the way I like to think about it is, before I start looking for all those bits and pieces of ideas that I could turn into a passion project or a little ad campaign for me, I like to know what I'm looking for, just have a sense of what direction I might want to go in. You could think of it like making a shopping list before you go to the grocery store, right? It's a lot easier to know what's on your list, what you need right now. Maybe you have a dinner party later in the week, maybe it's just you, maybe you've been craving this. And so making a game plan for what you're looking for can help from you walking up and down every single aisle in a grocery store and getting overwhelmed and maybe not even coming home with all the stuff that you needed or wanted in the first place. Before we even begin to look at the bits and pieces of ideas and inspiration that we have laying around, I want to walk you through this exercise that I like doing. It's kind of like a pre-brainstorm where I'm asking myself some questions to give me a roadmap or guide towards what I should be looking for when I do go and peek through all the ideas I have laying around. You can think of this step as the first of many filters that we're using to hone down your ideas to get to that one that we're going to pick and commit to and pursue. The reason that we're doing these worksheets and I'm doing this visual exploration here too is because if you're like me, you're probably a visual learner. So shout out to all my visual learners there. And getting the ideas and thoughts out of my head onto paper in front of me helps me to process all of it. And so I hope it can do the same for you. So I'm going to divide my paper into different sections for each question and each bit of writing. You can find your accompanying worksheet of this exercise that I'm doing in the class resources. So the first question I like to ask myself is, what do I want to say about my work? And you can think of this question as, if you had to put up a billboard for your creative work right now, what do you want people to know? What do you want to say about it? The next question is, what direction do I want to take my work in? You don't need to have any specific place you want to get to, but these questions are open enough so you can just write down whatever comes to mind. The next question is, what have I been creatively craving lately? And I like to use the word craving, one, because I love food analogies, but two, because I think it perfectly sums up the vibe of this question that I'm trying to get to is, when you have a craving for a certain food, it's a gut feeling, right? You just kind of know it for the most part. And even if you don't know the specific thing, you have an idea of spicy, sweet, pudding, like you have, spicy sweet pudding sounds disgusting, but you have an idea of what you might want. And so just jot down anything that sounds kind of good. And then the final question that I like to ask myself is, if I had to pick just one, which would I focus on? Creative exploration or career growth? And I know this seems like an impossible decision to make, but this is the most important filter in my own work, because most likely when you work on a passion project, you're gonna get a little bit of both out of it. If you're exploring a new idea or medium, you are creatively growing, you're exploring, you're trying, but you also, if you share it online, are probably gonna experience some sort of career growth from it, even if it's just a tiny bit. Like even Instagram followers could be classified under career growth. And so picking just one will help to give you a lens as you're sifting through your ideas, so you can ignore the ones that don't fit your priority right now, because again, you're walking away from this class with one project that you're going to focus on and a game plan. So a few examples of creative exploration might be trying a new style, exploring a new medium. Maybe you're testing something out that you might want to include in your business later. Like this is very much a not quite sure what I'm going for, but I want to focus on the creative aspect. Now with career growth, typically when I pick this one, it's with specific goals in mind. So maybe I want to get hired for editorial illustrations for a fashion magazine, something like that. If you have any goals like that you're focused on, that you know you're already building towards, that can be a good indicator that maybe you want to prioritize career growth. If you don't really have any on your list, then maybe creative exploration makes more sense. Okay, so I'm going to go in and answer these myself. So what do I want to say about my work? I'm in a bit of a transitional, extension period of my career because I am going to be going to culinary school very soon. And so what I want to say about my work, what I want people to know is, hey, I'm moving towards food. Because I don't have any specific idea of what I want to do after culinary school, my intention here is I just want people to know that that's the direction that I'm going in. I also think it's important to mention that I'm not moving completely to food yet. Maybe like a year or two from now, I'll have different intentions, but I want people to know too that I'm still doing art, that's still my bread and butter. And so while I'm moving towards food, I don't want people to forget that I also do art. So I still enjoy lettering and I'm available for freelance projects. And I also want people to know that I'm kind of in a period of transition. I'm not entirely sure what direction that I'm going in. And I want people to know that because maybe they're also in that same space and they would resonate with whatever I am making. Now, the next question, what direction do I want to take my work in? So again, GPS, or compass, which way do I want to go? I would like to incorporate more food into my work. That's certainly a direction I want to go in. I know that for sure. Another direction that I know I want to take my work in, or that seems interesting to me, is moving towards starting to share recipes. That's one area that has always intrigued me, but I'm going to culinary school so I can feel more well-versed in that and build the confidence to call myself a chef and to share more cooking expertise, even though I've been a home cook for a very long time. And so a direction I know I want to head in is building up confidence to share recipes. Another direction I want to take my work in is expanding from lettering. So lettering has been my bread and butter for the last 8 years, but I also know that the direction I want to go in is slightly away from it. But like I answered in my first question, I still want people to know that that is a part of my work, because it is. Probably towards a direction of more making stuff with my hands. And what have I been creatively craving lately? Again, think of this like your food cravings. This may as well be what is your gut telling you, or what have you been curious about? What have you been drawn towards? Think back to anything maybe you have saved in an Instagram folder, or saved on your desktop, or pinned on Pinterest. You can look for clues as to what you've been craving. You can also think of this too as what are you trying to attract as well. So for me, lately I've been craving in my own life the company of people who are also in a growth phase, who are kind of exploring and learning new things and maybe redefining themselves. I've also definitely been craving working off of the computer more and working more with my hands. Back to what I said earlier about looking for clues as to what you might be craving creatively, I have been listening to an increased number of kind of self-helpy podcasts lately and been enjoying those. And now, the moment of truth, picking one, creative exploration or career growth. Based on my answers to the previous questions, maybe you can already guess, but for me, creative exploration takes priority over career growth. And like I said, you're probably going to want both of them, a little bit. But one should win out over the other, so you have a specific lens to look for your ideas through, because you can try to do both, but you will, at least for me, I get just as overwhelmed when I'm trying to do too many things. It's kind of like a 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner. They kind of work, but not as well as they could. So let's just commit to one. And this is honestly the first baby step into committing to a direction. Throughout this process, we're going to be making decisions and not looking back on them, because it's just a passion project. It's not the end of the world if it's not the perfect one, because let me tell you a secret, there is no perfect one. And I hope that's liberating for some of you, because it is for me. So creative exploration. Now, I also want to mention If you had chosen career growth, it would be a good idea to list out some of those specific career goals, things that you would like to happen, whether it's I want to add more portrait photography to my portfolio so I can book more sessions, or I want to do food packaging so I can land an internship at an agency. So things like that, good to list out here. Because most of the answers to my other questions tie into my creative exploration, I would just be repeating myself, so I'm not going to fill that in here. So now that I have everything laid out in front of me, what I like to do is review my answers and circle or highlight any words that you see repeated over and over again, or things upon a second pass that stick out to you, that get you excited or that resonate with you, and you're like, okay, that's definitely important. This will help us get closer to what we're looking for. Food's certainly one. Recipes, I know that's pretty high up on my list of something that I've been wanting to explore but haven't quite built up the confidence to. So maybe that's going to be important. Anytime a word shows up more than like 2 or 3 times, probably a good sign to circle it. I see tactile, working more with my hands, exploring, personal development feels important, and then creative exploration. I think that this is a good shortlist. I did happen to write down lettering twice, and so I am going to circle it, but I know that because it's not the main direction that I'm taking my work in, I'll probably prioritize food a little bit higher up. And so what you can do, either you can leave it as is, or you can create like a little grocery list of sorts, of like just a little checklist or short list of what you're looking for before we go and actually gather our ideas. You can always refer back to your bigger brainstorm, but this is what we're going to take with us when we go to look for the bits and pieces of creativity that have been lingering around us, so we can put together the beginnings of an idea we might want to work on. I promise you that no magic can happen when you're just waiting in the wings with your good idea, trying to finesse it and perfect it. You just kind of got to throw it out there and you can edit as you go. Yay! You made it to the end. I'm so proud of you. Now it's time to join me for the full class, where I'll walk you through my entire process for setting up a brief for your next passion project. Click on the link below to get started. And while you're here, why not subscribe to Skillshare's channel to get more tutorials like this?